short-term to medium-term thesis on LABU. So let's move on to gold miners nugget. Let's see here. So here we have, a pretty notable downtrend. However, we are coming into some pretty hard support and resistance zones. Long term, I'm neutral. I can't get a read on the long-term price action just because it is coming into this, pattern right here is not an indication of a long-term reversal. However, this is nugget and it decays in price naturally. I'm going to go to GDX in a moment here because I find that GDX shows the price action and pattern a little bit better. However, I do trade nugget and JNUG. I just use GDX as a indication of the trend. So on the medium term, it says here that last night I saw that TradingView had 9 bulls and 10 bears. It is in a symmetrical triangle, and there's more bull volume coming in on the CCI than bear volume. In the short term, I saw that it was rejected at its long-term resistance and broke short-term trendline RSI divergence. So let's just go ahead and go to GDX. And let's go to the daily to show you guys what I mean by the long-term chart. We have this horseshoe U shape, which I've never seen before. It's pretty interesting. So starting from 2015, I think that we are able to identify this new channel, which is in an uptrend actually. We can see that this is resistance here at 1 point, 2 points, and we can see that this is support here at 1, 2, 3 points. However, from the long-term perspective, we do have a large overhead resistance level from this line coming all the way across here, all the way back from 2011. But this U-shape is very interesting, and you can see that it's tagging price pretty well. We see that with these blue arrows, that it went down, bounced almost directly straight up, directly straight down, sideways, down, up, down, up, down. And what's interesting is this is the exact price pattern you would expect if it were to bounce off in the direction that it came in from this horseshoe and got rejected off these lines. So for some reason, this horseshoe seems significant to me. I've decided to keep it around. On May 30th, the chart guys, if you don't know who they are, they're great. They're on StockTwits. I would only have good things to say about them. I'd recommend checking it out if you get a chance. Their stance is neutral right now. I don't think that anyone has a good read of what's going to happen right here. This is an extremely important time for gold to make up its mind whether it's going to continue moving lower in the longer time frame or perhaps break out much higher. I think that when you want to talk about risk and reward, I see much higher reward towards the bullish side than I see towards the bearish side. So let's zoom into a shorter time frame and get a look at the pattern that we have playing out. I have another symmetrical triangle. I see it comes down, sets in our A, B, C, D, E, and right now it's like price doesn't really know what it wants to do. In the past, we can kind of see that it makes an immediate drop down and an immediate rise up, an immediate drop down. However, we are at the end of this symmetrical triangle, and once we hit our E wave, we bounced up, and instead of doing an immediate drop down again, we are just kind of flagging out right here and moving sideways. GDX has been in this dollar range now for probably 2 weeks. So what can I see in the 30-minute? Got some fib lines and some price predictions from the previous day's video. So longer term thesis, I'm bullish on gold. I see it coming up, breaking out of this long-term resistance line. Needs to get up over this long-term resistance line. This is medium-term resistance. This is long-term resistance. You can see how close they are together in price. But I see us coming up, retesting, and then breaking out. I have these two vertical lines drawn here because they mark the middle of this time line that I have here. You saw in my previous analysis of RUSL why I like these. I think they're significant. This timeline over here comes down right perfectly at the apex about. And so we have a low here, and this might be the low over here. So, to go on with my theory, we see that towards the middle to 60% of the trend, we see that we have tops in each of these timelines. So this is the middle of the channel, 60% in between these two timelines right here. And right here, I marked the middle of this timeline over here. So we have the middle and about 60% right here. So what I could see is this just being a massive flag, kind of like we had over here back in April before we shot up higher. I could see this just being a massive flag and we moving up higher. And we move up higher and we might tag this 161, which would be absolutely huge. And then I think we're going to be towards the middle of the trend, and I think that we're going to see it fall back down, and we might retouch this longer term resistance line and cause it to be new support, which would also be huge. In a slightly more bearish case, it might fall all the way back down, come back into this apex, and then shoot higher. As for the Fibonacci lines and more of the bear case, we can see that we are in this downtrend, and given previous price action, we've basically taken a dump all the way down. So I can see us, moving sideways here before breaking down, retesting this support line over here at the 50% fib, bouncing up slightly higher before falling all the way down to this ultimate bearish price line. This wouldn't be the worst case scenario if we do hit this price line. It'd be a good entry point, and I can see us shooting up a lot higher. Anyways, that is my short-term thesis on GDX. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out for the rest of the week. So moving on to SOXL semiconductors.